Well, one of the reasons I decided to record my voice as an AI voice dub is because there has been a lot of fear that I was feeling, that my industry was feeling about AI coming and what that was going to do for the future. And I kind of fell back on my training during my getting my master's degree in technology, innovation, and education, which was all about looking at where things are going, embracing the curve, not fighting the curve, and finding out the opportunities. The second reason was finding out some of the companies and their track record who were involved in AI voices. So Vocal ID, for example, is a company I've partnered with, as well as Lotus. Lotus is a very trusted voiceover company that's been in the business a long time. And just being able to have open dialogue, them being able to answer my questions, hop on the Zoom, explain things, I really felt comfortable going with them. And then thirdly is because think about all of the voices of things that we have, whether it's a toy, whether it's your Siri, they're not voices of color. And so I wanted to have an opportunity to have my voice as a voice of color out there to be a totally acceptable and maybe even preferable choice. Like, why have Siri when you can have Terri, right? But that's really great to have voices that we don't traditionally hear be voices of our things. So I'm excited about the journey. I think one of the things that's really important to remember is that we don't exactly know where things are going. And that's why it's important for us in the industry to pull together and help figure things out, figure out where the opportunities are, the risks are. And hey, we are some smart, hardworking people and we can figure this out together. And I always say, none of us is as smart as all of us.
So here I am at home, logging into Parrot Studio, which is Vocal ID's interface where I record my voice 5 to 7 hours. So I need to do a few things first, like change it to my Pro mic, and then there's a few checks that the system runs to make sure that the sound is optimized.
And here's the things it needs to know. I'm in a completely quiet room using a high quality microphone, which is here, my Sennheiser. Here we go. I'm using Google Chrome, yes, and I'm using a laptop or desktop computer, all that. Go to next. Let's make sure your microphone is accessible. Okay, click next one, ready. Now it needs to do room tone to make sure the sound is coming in and not any detractors. So. Okay, everything passed. Now it's going to check my mic. I'm going to say off for 3 seconds. That looks good.
Okay, so here you see that there are a couple scripts that are assigned for me to record line by line. I am selecting to do the Italy one first here.
So one line at a time. This is the only line I'm working on right now. Italy is slightly larger than Arizona. It has a population of over 58 million. So now I can just say next. And now it will let me record the next sentence. Almost 20% of Italy's population is over 65 years old. I want to make sure I say that with emphasis because it's learning how I emphasize, right? It's learning what inflections are natural for me when I'm emphasizing.
A really important part of creating a good synthetic voice, vocal likeness, you'll hear a lot of terms. So an important part of that is checking what you recorded to eliminate any mistakes so that you are training your voice dub how you correctly speak so it sounds like you and there's not anything extraneous.
I'm going to play it back here on this play button. The longest river in Italy is the Po River, measuring 405 miles in length. That's perfect. So I'm going to go over here and click good. We're all good. So that turns it green and it's good to go. Let's listen to one more. Oops. Italy borders Austria, France, Slovenia, and Switzerland, which is the longest border. I think I heard myself say oops. Let me play it again. Oops. Yeah, Italy. Okay, so that will train the machine, right? That I say Italy by saying oops, Italy. So That's bad data. So we are going to say thumbs down to that one.
It takes about 5 to 7 hours to get really good data because, of course, there's going to be some mistakes, and it really whittles down to about an hour and a half of actual voice data that's used to create the voice.
My name is Rupal Patel, and I'm the founder and CEO of Vocal ID. Terri's done a fantastic job telling you how she recorded on Parrot Studio in order for us to create her synthetic voice. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what happens after she recorded. So after she's reviewed her recordings, we begin the voice building process. The voice building process is a multi-stage process. It begins with first prepping the data for training. Prepping the data means removing the mouse clicks or any kinds of aberrances that are in the data so that when the machine tries to learn how to speak like Terri, it has only speech and not things that we don't want it to learn, like dog barks or train movements or things like that. And so we use both artificial intelligence tools to remove that kind of data as well as human inspection. We also align the transcripts that she has said phonetically to each of the acoustic samples. So all the WAV files are then time-aligned for the sounds that she produced, not just at the beginning and the end of the file. So this is also done computationally. And then after that, we use that data, the transcripts and the acoustic data, to feed our set of algorithms that's going to learn to speak like Terri. You could, of course, build a voice with very little speech, only a few minutes of speech, but it's not going to sound as much like Terri. So we ask for about 90 minutes of audio because we know that some of the data is not going to meet our expectations of what we need, the high fidelity we need to create a high quality, robust synthetic voice that really sounds like Terri, not only in how she produces speech, but also in the rhythm of her voice and the melody of her voice. This usually takes about 20 to 30 hours of continuous training on the algorithms in order on our cloud servers for us to learn how to speak like a particular speaker. Often we have to rebuild the model again because we have to tune parameters. They're called hyperparameters. In the neural text-to-speech synthesis, it is as much an art as it is a science to create a robust engine to consistently speak like Terri. In novel situations where we haven't recorded her speaking before. And so it's really important that we have enough data to try different ways and methodologies to reproduce this data. Once trained, that machine now, or that set of algorithms, has a mathematical formula in which to use or every time I see some novel text, like my name or a new word that did not encounter in the training data, to be able to speak that in Terri's voice or in something that resembles Terri's voice. Essentially, it's now a machine that takes text in and produces speech out. The way you can access that machine is by using Parrot Studio or our APIs. And Sam and Jillian from Lotus Studios have done a great job telling you more about how they use Parrot Studio in order to produce audio productions and also to add music to their productions. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to speaking with you.
Hey everybody, this is Sam Ufret.
And Jillian Pelkonen from Lotus Productions.
And we're going to give you a quick walkthrough of how Parrot works on the back end.
So picking up where everyone else left off, I'm here in Parrot Studio in the back end working with a voice, directing it the same way a director would work with a talent in a session. So I'm going to play you what I started with. I plugged all the copy into Parrot, and then I'll play you my end result with a little bit of tweaking and a little bit of music adding and spicing it up to get the final product.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me today at VO Atlanta. While I'm here talking to you, my AI voice is auditioning.
Okay, so that's the copy that I put in. And as we go, sometimes I get to make creative choices, like I change the copy up a little bit, and this wasn't a paid job or anything. And sometimes even with those, you're on a session and the copy doesn't fit, so you switch it around. Same thing happens here. So the way that Parrot Studio works is, as you can see, the last one, it took 10 takes for me to get the voice to do what I wanted. And you get to label all of them to stay organized. This was the intro, and then it was just clip 2, clip 3. And I type in what I want to say. So here is the first version of what my copy was. And as I went through, I was using the adjustments on the side to kind of work with pitch, loudness, kind of anything that you would get directed in on a live session. And something special about Parrot is that it works unlike other AI voices where they just have talents record a ton of words. They synthesize hours and hours of someone's voice, and then it works syllable by syllable. So there's a very precise way to change the voice. And if the voice is pronouncing something in a way you don't want it to, you can just come in here and work with the phonetic alphabet, which is super helpful. So I went from my original copy, as you see over here, working with everything on the side and kind of changing it up. I get here. And if you can see, there's little words that are now highlighted in green or highlighted in general, and they all mean something different based on everything on the sidebar. So maybe a word was not the right pitch, or it didn't land where I wanted it to. So I wanted it to land on a lower pitch. I pitch shift it down, and it takes a lot of just using your ear and experience with live voices to work with this voice. And so using Parrot, I get to add Parrot Studio. I get to use everything here, and there's an awesome new feature, or it's new to me, where my final mix comes fully produced with music. So you get to listen to what that sounds like.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me today at VO Atlanta. Have you ever wished to be 2 places at once? Well, while I'm here talking to you, my AI voice is auditioning.
See how awesome that is? And you can switch it up. There's a lot of flexibility. There's so much that you can do to add more clips, have a longer script. But that's what I'm happy with. There's a little download button here. I can save it, and I have it as a file on my computer to submit, to send out, to do whatever I want to do with it. And it's super awesome, super easy. And I get to work with Terri without working with Terri.